Hey everyone, and welcome back. Are you ready to dive into some awesome advice on speaking English clearly and confidently?
I know I am.
You guys sent us this guide called How to Speak English Clearly and Confidently, and I gotta say,
It's amazing
it really is. We're gonna break it down and pull out all the best stuff.
to help you guys really put it into practice.
Exactly. Okay, so first up,
Pronunciation.
yep, the guide spends a lot of time on this.
It's super important.
It really is. Practicing sounds, slowing down, getting that intonation and stress just right. Now, that might sound
Basic?
kind of basic, yeah.
Yeah.
But why is it so important?
It's more than basic. Think of it like a house, right?
Right.
If the foundation is all wobbly,
Oh, yeah.
everything else is going to be off too.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
It's not just about other people understanding you. It's about feeling confident and in control of your own voice.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a really good point. Because if you're struggling to get the words out,
Yeah.
or you're not sure if you're saying them correctly,
Yeah.
it's going to,
It totally affects your confidence.
yeah, you're going to
It
feel.
makes you hesitant to speak up.
Exactly. Okay, so the guide even suggests some online tools.
Oh, yeah.
Help us out, like Forvo and Youglish. Have you ever used those?
Forvo is fantastic. It's like a pronunciation dictionary times a million.
Right.
You can hear any word you can imagine pronounced by native speakers from all different countries, so you get all the different accents.
That's amazing. And what about Youglish?
Youglish is super helpful for finding out how words are actually used in like YouTube video.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like you have a personal pronunciation coach in your pocket.
Okay, we'll definitely have to check those out.
Yeah.
Now, while we're talking about tools, the guide mentioned a technique called
Shadowing.
shadowing. What is that exactly?
Shadowing is like a workout
Oh,
for your pronunciation. You listen to a native speaker
okay.
and you just try to mimic them perfectly. Everything. Their intonation, the way they stress words, even their speed. It's like you're their shadow, trying to match their voice exactly.
So it's like you're trying to speak at the exact same time.
Almost. You can do it with a slight delay.
Okay.
So you can hear what they're saying and then try to repeat it.
Okay, got it. I'm really intrigued by this. We'll have to dive deeper into shadowing later on.
Absolutely.
Okay, but first, the guide talks about building confidence
Yes.
and emphasizes
Starting small.
starting small and not being afraid to make mistakes.
You know, it's so interesting how many people are just terrified of making mistakes when they're learning a language.
Oh, I know. It's like they expect to be perfect from day one,
Exact.
which
Well,
is just not realistic.
totally unrealistic. But the truth is, everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Even native speakers.
Oh, absolutely. I mess up all the time, even in my own language.
Exactly. I remember once I was giving a presentation
Oh,
and I totally blanked on a super common phrase. I ended up saying something totally ridiculous and everyone just started laughing. I laughed too. We all had a good laugh about it and moved on. It's so important to remember mistakes are human and they're actually valuable learning opportunities.
that is such a good point.
Okay.
So the guide encourages us to be kind to ourselves, celebrate those little wins.
Yes, celebrate every little victory.
It even suggests doing these daily speaking challenges, which sound really fun. Do you have any tips for building confidence?
Finding a language exchange partner
Oh, yeah.
or even just joining an online community, those can be amazing for your confidence. There are platforms like Tandem or HelloTalk
Right.
where you can connect with people from all over the world who are learning English too. You can practice speaking with each other in a relaxed environment.
Yeah.
And that just takes all the pressure off.
That's a great idea. So it's not as intimidating
Right.
as maybe like a classroom setting or something like that. Okay. Now, let's talk about expanding your vocabulary. The guide really emphasizes learning
Phrases.
phrases, not just isolated words. So why is that so important?
Think of it this way. Individual words are like building blocks,
Okay.
but phrases are like pre-built walls or towers. They let you build something much faster and stronger.
Oh, I like that.
They help you express more complex ideas and show that you understand how words work together.
Right. It's like you're not just saying a bunch of random words.
Exactly. You're speaking in chunks of meaning.
I love that. And the guide gives a great example. Instead of just memorizing the word delicious,
Right.
they suggest practicing phrases like, this meal is absolutely delicious.
So much more natural.
Yeah, it's like you're actually using the word in a real life situation. Okay, I love that. So how about a challenge for our listeners?
I love it.
Try using 3 new phrases in your conversations today. Anything from what a fantastic idea to I really appreciate your help.
Yes. Push yourself a little outside your comfort zone.
Okay, so we've covered pronunciation, confidence building, and vocabulary. What's next on our deep dive?
Now the guide takes a turn and dives into the often overlooked world of listening. It talks about how important it is to listen to native speakers.
Right.
If you want to improve your own speaking.
That makes sense. You can't expect to speak well if you haven't actually trained your ears to recognize the sounds of the language.
Right. Exactly. It's like the difference between hearing a song
Right.
and really listening to the lyrics.
Okay.
Passive listening is good,
Uh-huh.
but active listening is where the magic happens. You're really paying attention to the details, the nuances, how native speakers use their voice to emphasize things or to tell a story.
Oh, that's so interesting. And actually, the guide mentions shadowing again here. It recommends finding audio of native speakers
Oh, yeah.
and mimicking what they say, matching their pronunciation and their speed.
And that's where active listening becomes such a powerful tool.
Oh,
Because when you're shadowing, you're not just repeating words, you're really absorbing how those words are used naturally.
Yeah.
It's like training your brain to process and produce those sounds without even thinking about it. Plus, it's actually a lot of fun.
yeah. Okay, you've sold me on shadowing. I am totally going to try that.
Ah.
All right, so now this next part actually kind of surprised me. The guide goes into body language, eye contact and gestures. I wasn't expecting that.
This is where it gets really interesting because now we're talking about confidence
Okay,
that goes beyond just words.
right.
Our body language actually speaks volumes whether we realize it or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what are some key takeaways here?
Well, think about eye contact, for example. When you're speaking, try to hold eye contact with the person you're talking to. It shows them that you're engaged and that you're confident in what you're saying,
Right.
but you don't want to stare them down.
Right, of course.
It's okay to glance away naturally.
Okay, good point.
And don't forget about gestures.
Okay.
A well-placed gesture can really emphasize your points, make you seem more dynamic.
Yeah.
It can even help you remember what you want to say.
Oh, wow. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I love that the guide addresses these kind of nonverbal parts of communication. It's a good reminder that confidence isn't just about the words we say. It's about our whole presence.
It's about how we carry ourselves.
Right. How we project ourselves to the world.
Our voice, our body language, our energy, it all plays a part.
Absolutely. Okay, and finally, the guide wraps up by emphasizing
Self-talk.
self-talk.
Yeah.
It encourages us to use positive affirmations
Yes.
and focus on progress rather than perfection.
Our inner critic can be our worst enemy, especially when it comes to language learning.
Oh, I know. It's so easy to get down on ourselves.
It is. But if you can shift to a more positive and encouraging inner voice,
Okay.
it can make a huge difference.
Have you had any personal experience with this?
Oh, absolutely. When I was first learning English, I was terrified of speaking in public.
Right.
I was so scared of making mistakes and sounding silly.
Yeah.
But then I realized that that fear is actually holding me back.
Oh, wow.
So I started using affirmations like, I can do this.
Okay.
And every mistake is a learning opportunity.
I love that.
And you know what? It helped.
It did.
It really did. My mindset started to shift and I became so much more confident.
That's so inspiring. It's a good reminder that our mindset really does play a huge role in our success.
A huge role.
And one really practical tip that the guide mentions is keeping a language learning journal.
Oh, yeah.
So you can write down new words and phrases, track your progress, and celebrate those small wins.
It's a great way to stay motivated and to see how far you've come.
It's like having a physical record
Yes.
of your journey
Yeah.
and all the work you've put in.
And it can be really motivating to look back and see all the progress you've made,
Yeah,
even the small steps.
I love that. So we've covered so much already in this deep dive into how to speak English clearly and confidently. This guide is just packed with practical advice.
It really is. It's amazing how much they packed into this guide. What are some of your favorite takeaways so far?
I am personally really fascinated by this shadowing technique.
Oh, me too.
And that whole section on body language was really eye-opening.
I never really thought about how much my body language
Will be affecting my communication.
it makes a huge difference. And I think what makes this guide so powerful is that it takes this really holistic approach. It's not just about memorizing grammar rules and vocabulary lists.
Right.
It's about understanding how all the pieces fit together.
Yeah.
The pronunciation, the confidence building, the mindset, even the body language. It's about becoming a more well-rounded and effective communicator.
On the inside out.
Exactly.
And I love that it's presented in such a clear and actionable way.
Yeah.
It's not just theory, it's actually giving you tools and strategies
That you can use.
that you can start using right away.
And you know, one thing I really appreciate about this guide Guide is that it acknowledges that learning a language is a journey.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a destination.
It's not like you just wake up one day and you're fluent.
Exactly. There are going to be ups and downs. There are going to be moments of frustration and
Yeah.
moments of triumph.
Yeah, it's a process.
It is. But the important thing is to embrace the journey, enjoy the ride, and remember that every interaction you have is a learning opportunity.
I love that. Okay, so before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with a little thought experiment. Imagine you're in a situation where you need to speak English.
Okay.
It could be a job interview, a presentation, or even just a casual conversation with someone new.
Got it.
How would you approach that situation differently now, armed with all the tips and strategies we've talked about today?
That's a great question. Would you feel more confident?
Oh, yeah.
Would you be more willing to try out those new phrases?
Definitely.
Would you focus more on expressing yourself clearly and connecting with your audience?
I think I would. I think I would go into it with a different mindset,
Yeah.
knowing that it's okay to make mistakes.
Right.
And that I have these tools that I
Okay.
can use to help me communicate more effectively.
It's all about experimentation, having fun, and not letting the fear of making mistakes hold you back. Every interaction, every conversation is a chance to learn and grow.
I love that. So to recap, we've learned that pronunciation is the foundation of confident speaking.
It's so important.
And shadowing is this amazing technique
It is.
that can help us improve our pronunciation.
Yeah, it's like a secret weapon.
It is. Confidence is all about starting small, embracing those mistakes, and celebrating even the tiny ones. And we can't forget about the importance of learning phrases, not just isolated words.
Absolutely. It helps you sound more natural and fluent.
And it shows that you really understand how the language works.
Exactly. Active listening is key too. Training your ears to really hear the nuances of spoken English.
And that whole section on body language was a game changer for me.
Oh, me too.
I never realized how much of an impact eye contact and gestures
Right.
could have on my communication. It's a good reminder that confidence really is about so much more
Yeah.
than just the words that we're saying.
It's about our whole presence.
And finally, the guide emphasizes the power of our mindset. That positive self-talk and focus on progress
It's so important.
can really make a huge difference in our success.
A huge difference.
Wow, this deep dive has been so valuable.
I know, me too.
I feel like I've gained so many practical insights
Yeah.
that I can start using right away.
I encourage all of you listening to do the same. Pick one or two of the tips that really resonated with you and start incorporating them into your daily life.
Yeah, just experiment, see what works for you.
You might be surprised at how quickly you start to see progress.
And remember, learning a language is a journey, not a race.
Enjoy the process, celebrate your wins,
Yes,
and never stop exploring the amazing world of language.
beautifully said. Well, I think that's about it for this deep dive.
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap things up.
Until next time, keep those language learning muscles working and keep diving deep.
Into the world of knowledge.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.
Bye, everyone.
And you know what? If you ever feel stuck
Yeah,
or a little discouraged on your language learning journey,
it happens to all of us.
it does. Just come back to this deep dive
Yes,
and revisit all these amazing tips.
we're here for you.
They are. And remember, you're not alone in this. There's a whole community of amazing people, of English language learners out there,
All over the world.
supporting each other, celebrating each other's successes. I think that's what makes this journey
So special.
so rewarding. It's about connecting with people, sharing experiences.
And learning from each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So keep practicing, keep exploring, and most importantly,
Keep having fun.
yes, have fun with the process.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the perfect note to end on.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into speaking English clearly and confidently.
It's been so much fun.
It has. Until next time, happy learning, everyone.
See you on the next deep dive.